Happy Thursday, everybody. Andy and Steve from wagertalk.com going over the road to millions for Thursday, July 20th. I have been up for hours and hours watching the Open Championship. But happy to get a nap after this one and then get on with the day. But so far, so good. We got a nice little show for everybody here. Let's take a look here at what we're going to go over today. We want to talk about last night. We only had one play, did not go well. I want to give a little update on the Open Championship, and then we're going to talk NFL futures. First off, we're going to talk why we bet NFL futures and how we bet NFL futures, and then we're going to do a little deep dive on the NFL Leading Passer Award. Let's get into last night. Steve, I'm from Indianapolis. You're from Boston. We pretty much have a rivalry, and now after the last two nights, I have a big rivalry with your Boston Red Sox. What's going on? They're getting stomped by the Athletics.
Oh man, they let us down again. Unfortunately, 6-5 last night. Just Bayo's worst start of the season. He allows 3 home runs for the first time this year. That's after he hadn't allowed any home runs in June, and then he allowed 3 in the 2 starts prior to this one. So that's now 6 in the past 3 games. So I hope that's not a trend. That's because he's been really solid for the Red Sox with the sinker ball, keeping the ball on the ground. But unfortunately, he was not keeping it on the ground last night. Yesterday afternoon, I should say, 3 2-run blasts did him in, and we lost 6-5. Red Sox couldn't come back late in the game.
It also wasn't that he gave up home runs. It was when. It was like, oh, there's always a good guy on. Wonderful.
Yeah.
No solo blasts around here. Just, 3. So Boston made a little bit of a run, but again, their bat's just not very good the last couple weeks. So, and I fully understand that a few days ago we said we were going to up the percentage of our baseball plays. I fully expected to lose the first game, but 2 in a row, the gambling gods are telling us to calm down a little bit. So
yeah, 100%. The first one was the kiss of death. We knew that one. We knew that one was going to be, just the gambling gods aren't going to let us have that one. So
we'll get after. We got an MLB play that is up for today. So look at rebounds. I've got so many games left in the MLB season. So the good news is that when you lose 2 in a row, this feels like a horrific losing streak for us. That's kind of a good feel. You and I are
that's
like,
true.
what the? This is ridiculous.
2 losses in a row. Oh my god.
So don't worry, we'll get back on track. We have a lot of pending plays. So let's talk just a little bit about the Open Championship. It's going okay. We had a small bet against Jordan Spieth. He shot 2 under. He had a pretty decent little round. We have him going against Dustin Johnson, who has just teed off. So we'll just have to wait and see how Dustin Johnson is doing. Scotty Scheffler, this guy cannot putt. I swear to God, he would be in the lead if he could putt. He's missed a 3-footer and a 4-footer. He's finishing up on the last hole to par 5. I think he's probably going to birdie it, hopefully, but he should be even or -1 right around that top 20 mark. So when golf, when you're betting on these big name guys in golf, you kind of have a couple steps where it's like, just make it through to the cut. Set yourself up for a nice day on Sunday, and then close out the win on Sunday. So it's a long ways to go, but I like where Scotty Scheffler's at. So did not blow up on this round, so we're looking pretty good here. So, all right, let's talk NFL future betting and how we handle it for the road to millions. So we got a few things. We got a few things that we're going to talk about here. I want to talk about why we bet them, why most people ignore them, and then how we bet them. So I guess first, Steve, let's talk about how we bet our NFL futures. I'll let you go first. And just what do we look for when we're doing our NFL futures?
So we're generally not targeting huge long shots, plus 500s, plus 700s, things like that. They're long shots for a reason, and you can't be super confident in them. And what we're looking for is to just have a winning record. We play the same percentages across the board on the future plays. We've had success over the years with division winners. That's been a category that we've really had some success with. We generally are, betting plays within I would say the -150 to +200 range. That's kind of like our sweet spot. And, we've really done a great job targeting unders and manageable overs. The unders for multiple reasons that we can get into, but the manageable overs, we don't want to go too high with the numbers on these player props. One thing goes wrong, it can destroy the entire season for an over. whereas an under has so many things where an injury, an injured teammate, you name it, poor performance, any of those things, a little lull in the season where they go cold for a certain amount of time depending on the sport. So there's a lot more to like about an under future than an over.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe we've got a division winner that's up, and then we got player props, and you'll see they're mostly unders. And what I look for specifically is, would this go under if everything went right? Like, is there a chance that, okay, this player plays all the games? Would this have a chance to go under? And if it does, I'm looking at injury risk. Like, I love taking unders on injury risk players because they have a high number, they get hurt a little bit. We've made quite the killing on fading Christian McCaffrey the last few years. So he gets traded, and there's just a couple of games where he doesn't do much, and you cash the under on the rushing and receiving yards. So yeah, we look towards unders a little bit, not a little bit, a lot bit on there. And if we do take an over, it's going to be a lower number. Like if we're looking at a rushing or a receiver, I don't want anything around 1100, 1200. Like we're not taking overs on Devontae Adams at 1300 yards. That's crazy. So that's kind of what to expect with futures. All right. So why? And I think people ignore him, Steve. I used to. Didn't you? Like
Yeah,
they always seem like fun talking points, but you're like, I'm not going to tie up money for that, extended period of time. Until you look at the math, and you say, okay, let's say we have five, like player props and like a division winner. They're all at 2%. Okay, we got 10 units. Well, football season starts, and then you kind of forget about them. And we're 14-7 lifetime at wager talk on futures, so we're hitting at 66%. So if we're hitting 66%, we're looking at a 3-2 at worst, probably a 4-1 outside shot of 5-0, and that comes at the end of football season. It's kind of like Christmas. You kind of forget about them, and then all of a sudden, there's these futures that pay out at the end. And the other thing I would add to it is, we go over this since we do look at our bankroll like an investment, a stock portfolio. Boy, if you can make 6 to 8% over the course of a football season, it's really, really good. And the other thing I would add is, with our futures, with our like hit rate, it's better than throughout the regular season. Like we're hitting what 66%. That's almost impossible to do throughout the course of an NFL season. So don't ignore the futures. We put them out there for a reason. They're part of the bankroll. They're a part of the road to millions. So we've just found really good success with them. As you know, we put out our percentages. We recommend you play the percentages. Of course, you can do whatever you want. It's your bankroll, but we play them at the percentages that we have. So, anything else to add on NFL futures?
yeah, I know people have, they don't want to tie up that money for the entire season. And I mean, I get it to some degree. I mean, I used to lay off futures myself, but with the NFL in particular, it's a little bit, I mean, let's face it, it's not as long as an MLB season or an NBA season or something like that.
Thank
So,
God.
exactly. And it's funny that you mentioned the Christmas part of it because it is right around that time of the year when they do cash. And it is like just that nice bonus. That's one thing I have enjoyed having futures on my accounts is when they cash and you go, oh yeah, nice, I got that extra little bonus coming my way that I kind of almost like forgot about in a sense, But
Yeah,
um, yeah, with the Road to Millions now, we'll be tracking them, and like you said, we're 14-7 in the NFL on NFL futures, so you gotta love that.
yeah. So, yeah, don't overlook them. We put them in there for a reason. So, anything that we can find value on that we think can add to the bankroll, we're going to be invested in. So, really love the player props that we have them up now. We have those up for all access clients. And what we're going to do is, once we have our week one official play, we're waiting for player props to come out. Once we have our week one play, we'll attach all those futures to the week one play. So, but all access clients, you guys should have them now, and you should lock them in pretty soon. So, all right, that is NFL futures. And now, Steve, we are going to talk about the NFL leading passer. You wrote a great article. You've done all these articles for the different awards. So you started off doing the most research on this. So Tell us what you wrote in the article. What'd you find out? I'm assuming it's kind of the same usual suspects minus Brady. But what'd you find out?
Yeah, so my guy here that I love is the second top guy on the board is Justin Herbert. When I wrote the article, he was plus 700, I believe, and obviously, you got to Patrick Mahomes is the favorite. You got to worry about him every season, but I mean, he's the favorite, and he's half the price of Herbert. So
It's
Herbert's
crazy.
been knocking on the door the past couple of seasons. He finished sixth 3 years ago, second and second. Last year he did that despite a rib injury, despite banged up wide receivers, and then he also had a check down play caller. They've added now Kellen Moore as the new offensive coordinator, and he led Dak Prescott to 240 plus yards last season, even though he had per game, even though he had plenty of injuries and similar stuff that happened to Herbert. So he's going to have a more wide open offense to work with this year. And they've also added a great rookie in Quentin Johnson. He's been a great addition to the Chargers. So add him to the mix with Allen and Williams and whatnot. Eckler coming out of the backfield as a receiving option. He's a great receiving back. There's a lot to like about Herbert at that, especially at those odds.
Yeah, so we're taking a look at the odds here. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit better. So, yeah, we see you got Mahomes, Herbert, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, and then it kind of drops off from there. Um, there was a couple of interesting things that I looked at here. You know, when once the Chiefs got rid of Tyreek Hill, he was like, "Oh, there goes the deep ball." Mahomes averaged 8.1 yards an attempt. Herbert averaged 6.8. So even though the Chiefs got rid of Tyreek Hill, Mahomes is still throwing the ball at average an attempt longer than everyone else. Brady was at 6.4. Kirk Cousins was at 7.1. Burrow 7.4. Goff 7.6. Josh Allen 7.6. So I thought that was pretty interesting. If I'm looking at anything that has value outside of the Mahomes and Herbert, I don't know if you watched the first episode of the quarterback show on Netflix. I did not know Kirk Cousins was as hurt as he was last year. That was a real revelation that he was really really banged up. And so we look at him. He threw for 4,547 yards. That's about, call it 700 yards less than Mahomes. He attempted about 40 less passes, or I'm sorry, he actually attempted only 5 less passes. Um, I don't know, Kirk Cousins. I think Alexander Madison sucks as a runner. I've watched him, not impressed. I'm wondering now they get new receiver Justin Jefferson another year. Wonder if Kirk Cousins just airs it out. Wonder if he's healthier this year. Could we see Kirk Cousins getting near 5,000 yards?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. That's an offense that opened it up last season as well with the head coaching change over there. And I mean, they did lose Thielen. That's one thing you could kind of talk about, but he's kind of hasn't been. I know he hasn't been the greatest
He's
the past
old.
couple of seasons. Been
He's
dealing with
old.
some injuries and stuff like that. So, yeah, I could see Cousins. Cousins was a guy that I looked at closely, and I looked at Tua was another guy that I really considered, but I ended up writing him up as the bust aspect of the article just because of the injury potential. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got some great options and he's going to be slinging it, but that injury potential, that's something that you got to consider with him. That's why I stayed away from him. But plus 1,300, I mean, great odds, but you got to stay away from it with the injury concerns.
Patrick Mahomes, 8.1 yards per attempt. Tua, 8.9. I mean, he's got the pace. He's absolutely got the pace. He's got the weapons. He's got the offense, but it's just that backfield's a mess. I don't know I mean, if you told me Mahomes and Tua were going to play the exact same amount of games, that's a coin flip, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I'd say yeah, I mean, I almost might give Tua this slight. It's tough to give an edge over Mahomes. You know what I mean? It's probably a coin flip. You're right. It's a
Yeah,
50-50
yeah.
play.
I mean, just that 8.9 yards per attempt is just, I mean, it's massive. It's 2 yards more than Justin Herbert. So, yeah. I guess honestly, Steve, my takeaway, none of these are going to make our futures. This is it's Mahomes is the favorite for a reason. and then every other option here you could poke holes in, and if Herbert steps on, and that's the thing with these with something like this, if Herbert twists an ankle and misses like one or even two games, it's over. Like
Yeah,
the winner is going to play every game. One of these guys is going to play every single game, and if you don't have that guy, you're sunk.
yeah, it's a tough prop to use as as something that you want to put as an official play because, like you said, I mean that they're plus 300 and up for a reason. You know what I mean? And only one guy is going to win this. You know what I mean? It's not like multiple guys will go over or under their respective passing totals, but only one guy is winning this. So
Yeah,
it's tough to project, but it's fun to look at and sprinkle something small on it if there's something you really like.
it is fun, and honestly, researching awards like this can help you discover, like we discover things about, like, oh, I didn't realize that this team added these two offensive linemen and veterans. That'll really boost the I didn't realize that Cincinnati's offensive line should be better this year. It looks like they should be much better. So now I'm like, oh, is Joe Mixon really attractive now? He's the only guy there without Samaje Perine. I kind of looked. I didn't really discover that until I started looking at Joe Burrow,
Yeah,
and the numbers. So there's a lot of value with just kind of researching these. But as far as, are we going to actually play something with these? No, I think they're just more fun talking points at this point. I don't think I've ever bet one of these awards.
yeah, I haven't officially either, and you are right. It is fun digging into these awards and learning some different things. For me, it's been the coordinators. I've been kind of getting interested in
Mm.
what some of these coordinating changes. They're pretty obviously pretty important. You know what I mean? And I've been getting into that a little bit more as opposed to just the personnel.
Yeah, yeah. So that's your NFL passing leader award for the season. So we have our MLB play of the day that is up right now. All of the Women's World Cup plays. That tournament started, so we are well on pace. We're already way ahead of pace for the 5% play. The 5% play was under 175 and a half cards. It's really weird. They have to average 3 cards a game to get over. They played 2 games and we've had 2 cards total. So that play is looking very good. So
Nice.
lost a small play on a game this morning, but the big one's looking pretty good. And then we got a lot of futures for those. So golf is going. I probably will have round two play. I've done really well in round two for golf this season, so I will look over the options and I'll probably have a head-to-head matchup. So make sure the text service, it's down for Wager Talk. I discovered that.
Oh,
The carrier's having trouble. So check your emails for plays. If you've noticed that the plays are not getting texted to you, um, we're trying to fix it on the back end. We're working with the carrier. Make sure you're checking your emails to get those notified. So that's a one to let everyone know about that. I've had a couple questions about text messages, and I noticed I didn't get them either. So we're working with it. Not much we can do because it's the carrier that we work with, but um, just check your emails for golf plays. UFC is up, and then of course we'll have MLB throughout the weekend. So looking forward to getting back that MLB loss last night. So I think that about does it for us today, Steve. We will be back tomorrow with Road to Millions. Tomorrow's a busy day. We got Road to Millions, Prop It Up, Wager Talk today, and then of course the weekend. So let's get that baseball money, Steve. Good job on the
yeah,
good job on the NFL passing leaders article. It was a good read. You can just Google it and read it if you want to see all of everything that Steve kind of uncovered. So good luck today. Let's have a good one. Happy Thursday, and we'll see everyone tomorrow.
good luck tonight.